Nicko McBrain with you here. Watch out, Mr. Buble. Welcome to my domain, my little box. Actually, I'm on the sacrificial altar, you see. But this is my brand new, well, it's a few months old now, but brand new for me, my Sonor SQ2 9-ply medium shell beechwood kit. This was made for me by Sonor drums last year. Hand built, nice wrap. I'll put the wrap together for them, got the artwork done. We put this very lovely artwork on each of these drums. Now, before I explain the sizes, I'd like to explain the artwork. The artwork on each drum is the same image on each drum, but they're different in as much as the respect that I was trying to interpret. Each of this artwork was found in a different ruin around the world somewhere. So, for instance, I can't try. See this line here? There's a line on the next drum that's slightly different, and then there's chips. It's hard to really see it, but there are chips out of the chevrons that are on top and bottom of the drum that basically represent the different scarring. There's different scarring on each of the artwork, so they're all different. The bass drum artwork is the Mayan calendar, which is I'll have on my gong, which we'll get to in a minute. But anyway, let's start with the drums. Always my standard size, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, floor tom 18 by, I think that's an 18 by 20 we got there. Now, it could be 18 by 8, no, it's 18 by 20. All square sizes. This is a 6, set for this one, 6 by 8. Sonor, when I first sat with them, said to me, what Karl Heinz said, what do you sell, Nicko? So, what would you like? I said, I'd like a 6. He went, we don't do a 6-inch anymore. And I said, well, I think you do now. So, bless his heart, he said, can we make it 6 by 8 to match the 8 by 8? I said, that is not a problem. This drum, I've had a little bit of trouble getting the angle right to match the neck, these three here. So, rather than mess with the arm that the drum sits on, I think it's just the way they fitted the tom mount on it. I can't get the right angle, so the only time I actually use this is when I stand up at the end of speed of light, and I think sometimes I'll stand up, depending how tired I am and how good if I'm feeling up for it, I'll stand out and give it a whack and go down, and then I can actually get hold of it. So, as you've seen, yes, all the artwork, lovely. I've got a 24 by, I think I've got an 18 bass drum, 24 by 18. That was always my sizes. I did try a 20 at one time, 24 by 20, a bit too much. Now, the difference on this drum set to any other drum set, even my old Sonor days, is the fact that I don't have a hole in the front bass drum head, because of the artwork we have on there, which if you boys and girls have had a look at it and noticed, it is from the speed of light at the very end when Eddie goes to the sacrificial altar and he puts the 3 hearts out and he goes, hang on a minute, I'm one short. So he takes his own eye out and sticks it in, then the game's over, if you remember, and then you go back to Eddie playing the game himself. Anyway, I had to really get used to the feel of, because I don't have any tension on the heads. This back head here is just, it's nipped. I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of movement in there. See that? It's not like really tight, like a tom-tom would be, or even a floor. I mean, there's a bit of movement, but this one is all I do is nip these up on the tech. Look, see, look, rattle, nip. That's it. So I get a lot of bottom end out of this bass drum. Plus, it's a beechwood bass drum, so it's got super class. It's got a lovely warmth to it. Anyway, that was a bit of an issue. So then we move off to the regular SQ2 hardware. I asked Sonor to extend it into all of the cymbal stands for me and my hi-hat stand. And as you notice, everything is in gold. Now, to ask them, to come back after 2 decades and go back with Sonor and to be treated like this was an absolute honour. I can't begin to express how amazing that feeling that is, to be given something and something that was built like this from Sonor after all the years I was away. We took these wonderful cymbal stands and I asked Carl to give me the counterweights, which are these. They don't do these normally in their line of hardware. So they found 10 of these in one of the secret rooms at Sonor. We represented it like a chunk of metal, a chunk of gold, and we put the Sonor logo on both sides, so it was repeated around the drum set on 10 cymbal stands. Obviously, when you're an endorsee with the companies, virtually all of the drum companies nowadays, they like you to have the name of their drum set on the front on the bass drum, obviously. Well, because the artwork was on the bass drum, I couldn't see anywhere to put Sonor. So we came up with this, and the company are very happy because it's a very high profile with this lovely black printed name, Sonor, and made in Germany. Anyway, then we move on to the cymbals. Yes, of course. This snare drum. This is basically a copy of the Nicko McBrain. We did discuss doing it in mountain maple, which was indigenous to Germany, but I did actually make a point and ask them to give me a Sycamore snare, which is the wood that my premier Nicko McBrain was made from. This is identical copy of it. This we're hoping later on to have this available as a Nicko signature within the lovely family of drummers like Benny Greb and Phil Rudd and Mickey D, Steve Smith, all these lovely guys. I think Danny Carey's got a snare. You know, we're going to go into that signature line. We're not over worried too much right now. We'll want to hopefully that'll be available to you guys and girls to maybe if you'd like to buy one of these. It is a beautiful snare drum. I love it because I designed it and my friend built it. But that's a very unique snare drum. We were thinking of doing a Book of Souls snare drum, so you'd have exactly the same wrap on here, which is the same colour as the tom-toms, except for it's got Book of Souls written around it in the Book of Souls font from the album. DW did me a beautiful 9000 gold-plated pedal down here. Unfortunately, Sonor forgot to do the hi-hat pedal down there. Look, that's the only thing that's sort of like snuck in that's not actually got gold on it. But this is a beautiful hi-hat stand. I used to use a DW 5000 series, but Sonor's, they do an extremely lovely hi-hat, and so I swapped that out to go with the Sonor Pro. We painted me cowbell gold. We put all the gold, all of the fittings that Sonor made for me are all gold plated. Then we move on to, okay, let's go now to the cymbals. These are the Paiste signature reflected family of cymbals. All of the cymbals on this side, this is a heavy full crash 15-inch that they made specially for me. Then we have over here, we got a 19-inch heavy full crash. Then we have a 16 heavy full crash, a 20 heavy full crash, and then we've got an 18, 15, 19, 16, 20, 18. Okay? These are all the heavy full crash. As I said, 15, you can't buy this. Well, you will be able to soon. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Now, then we got, over here, we got a Paiste heavy bell 13-inch. This is actually a 602 formula metal. But we didn't put the 602 because if you notice on there, they kind of needed a bit of a clean up. They've been clean, but these have been on the road for the whole tour with me. We got special artwork on these cymbals, which we will talk about in a minute. Yep, there you go. Now, moving over here, this is a design cymbal that I made with Paiste. It's just a 22 bell ride. It's not a power bell. It's just a straight 22. It really is a heavy cymbal. I mean, this thing weighs as much as that, believe it or not. The only difference on this cymbal is that I've got 6 of these logos. This lovely Mayan artwork. There's the original. This artwork here belongs to the Mayan calendar. This was taken from the centre of the calendar, which is on the. We'll get to that in a minute. So I've got my 22 bell ride. Over here, I've got a standard. Always used a rood here. When in the late 80s, I used to have 2 rides up here. And I swapped the 20-inch ride for a rood because I felt I needed, I didn't use the 20 ride so much. So I swapped it for this Rude, and I've been using one there ever since. This is a 20-inch prototype cymbal they made for me, oh God knows how many years ago, which we are going to introduce into the family with a 20, an 18, a 20, a 22, which is another heavy full crash, which is the same as these guys. This is like a medium. So we're going to probably call this like just a crash, thinking about making a 22 and a 24 in it. Because I used to use a 24, but I'm too long in the tooth now to go back, because I'd have to move the stand over an inch and it just wouldn't work. Down here we got a heavy china. Let me make sure, yes it is a heavy, because I do change sometimes, but this is a heavy china 22. And as I said, they're all in the reflected signature series. Then we moved to the hi-hats, which we got a heavy top. And I used to go with a medium bottom, but I think I've gone back with the heavy bottom. So let me just check. Yeah, I've got heavy top and heavy bottom. And you get an idea of these are straight 40s. I don't use a sound edge in these on the signature line. I find they're heavy enough and they give me a nice enough chick. You can see the artwork a little better on this Rude cymbal. It kind of gets lost in the light here. So there's the Teotihuaca, or how I may not be pronouncing his name. He was the 5th sun god of the Aztec and Mayan faith. If you look, he's got the good. Well, he's supposed to have googly eyes, but he's got a dagger coming out his mouth. So there was a lot of sacrificial stuff going on, as you may or may not recall, from the Aztecs and the Mayans. 20,000 people a year used to get a do-in at the altar. Now, these represent the date I joined Iron Maiden officially, and the very first day I put my stick to my snare drum with Iron Maiden was January the 9th, 1983, and that's what this means on each of my cymbals. We extended the logo a little bit on the top and the bottom. If you look on the ride cymbal, it's a little bigger than the normal Paisley logo, a little shorter in the lettering. As you can see, people have wondered why I have it so close. Well, I have it as tight, a ride cymbal, you shouldn't have any wash to it, really. I mean, a ride cymbal, you want to just be able to hear the riding and the stick on the cymbal. If you've got too much movement, I tend to think that the ride washes too much. But I have that very tight with a cup washer on here. Look, you can't move it. The only thing that's moved is with the stand. Bruce messes with it. But I do have it very close, as you see. But this is the areas that I hit the... Sometimes I'll clout that by mistake. Some nights. Not all the time, but it's a bit dodgy. So, okay, moving back here. We now have another absolute piece de resistance. This is a reflected 40-inch symphonic gong. Now, I had a couple of these that Paisley had made over the years for me, and I got a very dear friend of mine who painted the Final Frontier gong for me, the blue and the white gong. I had a 50-inch symphonic gong. John Douglas painted that. Now, John Douglas did the work on this. John Douglas has been Alex Van Halen's drum tech for 17, 18 years now, and he's an absolutely a genius with art when it comes to metal. And he did this Mayan Aztec calendar, except as you see in the middle, I had changed out the Teotihuaca guy and put my Jaguar logo that I designed with Jaguar for my car they built for me. This is me tipping my hat to Jaguar. I think that cat looks brilliant. So one-off, unique, only one in the world like this, and actually gets used during the show. I hit it 3 times on 3 different songs, so I give it a doing. Now what happens though is you can hear it's a very, very bottom end sound because of all the paintwork on it. It stops the gong actually opening up to the mid to top range. But you give it a good clout, you can hear it. It's the main thing. It's more for the bloody camera, really, me bashing the crap out of it. But I love this gong. It's such a beautiful piece of work. Poor old Charlie has to keep everything clean. Charlie's my drum tech. He's been with me for 9-10 years now. And when he puts his drum kit up, he puts like rubber gloves on, like hospital gloves, because it's such a hard kit to keep clean for you lot out there. But this is my pride and joy. I've designed some beautiful drum sets with Premier and with Sonor. Well, we had some lovely Sonor drums. We didn't have so much custom artwork, but over the years, I've designed some splendid drum kits with Premier, with the artwork and the finish. But this is the best drum set I've ever seen. This is the best drum set I've ever personally designed with a company. And for Sonor to have actually manufactured my dream, it is a dream come true. So there you go. And just one note on a sidebar, this set of cymbals, watch this space, may be available to you boys and girls in a limited edition. Everything you see up on this drum set. Watch this space. You never know, do you? So that's my drum set. And before we go, as you notice, a gold sprayed table and gold. We got everything gold we can possibly get. We got the microphones Shure did for me, Shure microphones. They did all the bodies of the microphone in gold chrome. The only thing we couldn't do was the gooseneck on the top here. We got the cable company that have done all these lovely gold cables. We've got the TV cameras for my drums for the show. We got gold body. So every detail we could possibly find that people would see is in gold.
Including the flight cases, right?
Even the flight cases. Yes, they're black with gold trim around the edges. It's brilliant. Everyone's like, do you know how much that's going to cost? I said, sue me. Yeah, so here, welcome to my domain, and I think that's pretty much covered it.
Awesome.
So there you go.